You always record it.
Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to the March episode of Page Turner Podcast, which incidentally is our last podcast. That's so sad, right? No, it's not, because we have a new name and a new look. We're the same old idiots still doing the show, but we have a new name and a new look and a website.
I know you almost had me there. I was like, it's our last? I didn't know it was our last. I'm involved.
You're as involved as you ever are, Rob. And we will be announcing the new show and stuff. We're probably going to do another short show to announce the new name and the new website. But for now, finally, it's the last week of winter, Rob. Oh my God, right?
Oh my God, I know, right? It's only been 70, 80s here. We're dying.
Well, so here in Canada, winter has gone on for like 3 years.
I heard you guys have been just miserable.
Yeah, and you just laughing so hard
I
over
know,
there.
I'm so sorry, but it's just
whatever. I'm gonna laugh at you in the summer when you're having a drought. Thank you.
We're already in a drought.
Oh no, are you really? I'm so sorry.
3 years. This will be, they announced this last week that it looks like we will enter our 3rd year of drought.
Oh geez, I hope not.
Right, so Canada freezes and we're just thirsty.
Well, I'll keep working on that weather machine I have, and then I'll blow it your way, because I've been working on a weather machine. Did you know you can't actually build a weather machine that our weather comes from the ocean or something scientifically? I'm not a scientist, but I read that somewhere, and so
was that like a mad scientist podcast that you listen to? They're like, hey, look, just stop.
No, it was actually a real science podcast. It
was a real scientist.
It was a mad science podcast that I got the idea for the weather machine, but I really don't know how to build a weather machine, so it's fine. I'll just point a fan in your direction. I'm so sorry.
That'd be great. Yep.
So for our last show during the last week of winter, who do we have for us today?
Oh, this is excellent. So this is actually serendipitous because we have my friend, and I've been on her podcast. In fact, I was the first interview on her podcast, and now she is the last as a page turner right before we change our name to Myth Behaving. So today I have my friend Shannon Reber. Shannon was born a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, or her imagination was anyway. She lives in Western New York with her husband and a wide variety of both real and imaginary friends who often battle it out for dominance in her head. Who needs yet another normal person in this messed up world? Read her books, or the evil overlord will take control of her mind. Ladies and gentlemen, Shannon Reber.
I feel like a dork now, but hi, thanks.
I thought that was a great introduction, but I feel like it was also how you would describe somebody that has schizophrenia.
Yeah, well, I'm just kind of an odd duck, so I'm okay with that.
Is there a writer out there who isn't an odd duck? Like, have you run into a writer like, I wouldn't have thought he was a writer?
Usually it's the biography writers who are, boring and, not odd.
Right. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. They're like historians.
No offense to any biography writers. Really, I swear.
Well, I guess because they have to stick with facts, it doesn't leave a lot of room for imagination. Unless you're writing a biography about an imaginary person. Which is, that could be like the new thing.
I love that idea. That's fantastic.
Like a biography about like Sir Samuel Treebeard, who like, I don't know.
Keep reaching, Kari. This is good. This is gold right here.
So Shannon, speaking of weird, what kind of stuff do you write then?
Speaking of weird.
You're not writing biography.
I write fantasy. Fantasy all the time.
Well, but you write some what I would call like urban fantasy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's mostly urban, but I do have the very first thing that I ever wrote was epic. Mm-hmm. So it's like swords and sorcery type stuff. Yeah. And actually, surprisingly, or kind of awesomely maybe, in the next couple of days, the 3rd book in the audiobook series trilogy will be out.
Ooh.
I know.
What's the name? Wait, what's the name of that series?
Oh, the series is the Seal of Solomon.
Okay, and what's the book that's coming out?
The Fire Wielder.
And that's as Shannon Reber, right?
Correcto.
Okay. All right.
Now awesome. Tell us about your journey from epic fantasy to urban fantasy.
Honestly, I got tired of torture.
Oh,
okay. And then why would you say, what do you mean by torture? Describe the torture. The torture
No. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, pretty much. I was researching like medieval torture methods, and I was actually writing them, and I felt guilty after I had published the book. I'm like, oh, that was really dark. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. And then I decided to embrace it, and I just went with the I just had the audiobooks made, so I'm totally embracing the grimdark of my crazy mind.
So you didn't enjoy writing torture scenes?
Well, I kind of did, but I didn't want to enjoy it. How's that?
No, I got you. I hear you. I always like when I get into my character and really like, because they've got to have some kind of, not just a mental block, but obstacle, but like really physical. And the more physical I feel, that they overcome, then the awesomer they are. But like they still have to overcome that. And it does get like, you're like, ooh, diabolically horrible to them. And
yes,
like you're punishing them for existing in your world.
Exactly.
You guys are such sweet summer children. I embrace, I do the shadow work. It's called shadow work. I embrace my darkness. It's there. Oh yeah. Like I used to be really ashamed of loving like serial killer documentaries. Now I'm going to probably get killed by a serial killer. But anyway, I used to be so ashamed. I would never tell anybody that I would read all these books. Charles Manson, Ted Bundy, just trying to understand the darkness of humans. But now it's like, it's cool. Everybody brags about it on TikTok.
Very cool.
And I scream like it is. So, I mean, but I think that's good. If you don't like it, I don't think anybody should ever write something they don't like.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's not that I didn't like it. It's just that I kind of grew out of it. I suppose that's the better way to put it.
But in your urban fantasy, so what happens when you're writing a story in your urban fantasy? How do you deal with an antagonist, or how do you?
Oh, I'm a jerk. I'm a horrible, horrible person.
Okay.
Seriously.
There's no torture, but bad
Well, yeah, exactly. But there is some torture. It's just, it's not the medieval. Okay, when I was researching medieval tortures, I found this one where they would take a rat, stick it on someone's stomach, stick a glass box over top of it, and then heat the top of the box so that the rat would eat into the person's stomach.
Yeah.
Wow.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I love animals, so this really interests me.
Yeah, George R.R. Martin has a scene where they do that exact thing. And
really?
Yeah. It's like, apparently that was a thing like that.
Yeah,
like
it was,
if you were really mad at somebody, a lot of medieval torture wasn't like what we think. There was no Iron Maiden or anything like that, but some of it was like legit horribleness. You're like, oh my gosh.
Back up the track. Okay. There was no Iron Maiden.
No, that's a later invention that because what they were trying to do. Okay, so this is where I digress into a little bit of history. But what they were trying to do was in the Renaissance, they were trying to say, oh, we're so much more enlightened now than the medieval times. Look at all these things, and some of the devices they had were not torture devices. They were legit like medical devices or other things. Like they didn't have anything to do with people at all. They were for like animal husbandry or some nonsense like that. But like the Iron Maiden was just something they made up.
Really? I did not know that.
That is my recollection. Now somebody's probably typing right now like angrily like, you don't know what you're on about, but that is my recollection is that the Iron Maiden was not real.
The lead singer of Iron Maiden, like, shut up, bro.
Like, just shut up, man. That's our name. But like,
it would be that's awesome though. If he was listening to us, that would be great. Read our books, dude.
Yeah,
we are great writers.
Iron Maiden rules. If you're listening, Bruce Dickinson.
Yes,
I believe in you, Bruce Dickinson. Unlike Rob, just trying to say it's not real.
I'm not saying they aren't real now.
I believe in you. Well, that sucks. We just spent like a whole 10 minutes on torture. I love this episode. We're going out with a bang.
Well, I want to ask. I want to keep on the torture for just a minute more.
Yeah, of course you do. Okay, go ahead.
Shannon and even Kari, how much punishment is too much for your character? Like, at what point do you like, oh no, readers are not going to take this, like they'll check out?
Well, I think because a lot of people talk about torture porn.
Yeah.
And I remember, did you watch the Amazon Prime series that came out called Them?
No.
Okay, well, a lot of people accused it of being torture porn, and it was good. It's a lot for me to get into right now, but it was really good, and I didn't think I thought that everything that happened in the show belonged in the show. So I think that, I guess it depends on what kind of book you're writing, because people do write torture porn, and people do like it.
Does it depend on your audience too? Like, do you really need to know your audience and write to them, or can you just like, this is my world. If I want to have 8 hours of torture, they get 8 hours.
I think it depends on the writer.
Okay.
It does, yeah.
Because who writes for an audience? People write for themselves. We write books because we love to write. You know, if we hit an audience, we hit an audience. If we don't, well, then we write another book, and we go until we try it. Somebody out there is going to like it somewhere. Whether it's
I found that if you're trying to find an audience, you were never going to find the ones you think you're going to find.
It hinders your process. How do you write for an audience? You don't know what anybody else likes. You only know what you like.
Exactly.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, yes, exactly.
But you do have to write for someone, right? I feel like I'm writing for someone. Like I used to just write, like, I just want coolness in my stories, and they were horrible. Like, my stories were horrible. I'm glad you can't even find like my early stuff, which is great. Like, no one should see that stuff.
Now I totally want to go and look for it. You know that, right?
I have a hard time believing that. I have a hard time believing they're horrible.
Oh my gosh, no, they were so derivative, and it was because I didn't know how to write, so I just like copied like Terry Brooks and like Tolkien. Okay, so
that was your early stuff.
Yeah, my like really early efforts, and a lot of horrible descriptions.
I have to go let my pig out. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go let your pig out. Oh my gosh, this is the best show.
I know it is. Yeah, it's the best way to end an argument too.
Right?
Pardon me, I have to go let the pig out.
Isn't that great? That's where she's just like, I have to let my pig out. Go, you just keep talking, Rob. Go ahead.
It's perfect.
But like my early stuff was really horrible. Like I would spend, I don't know, 2 or 3 paragraphs just on what they look like. Like, I thought that's how you wrote. Like, they're 6'2" and 285 pounds, and like muscles out for days, and green eyes, and hair down to the shoulder that was the shade of a warm summer wheat. Like, I just went on and on. I thought that's how you were supposed to write. Like you had to cover every detail.
Some writers do that.
Some do, yeah.
And some really well-known writers do that. So, I mean, you just have to find your style rather than copying someone else's. And once you figure that out, you're all set.
And then the money just rolls in, right?
Oh, wait, we're supposed to get paid? Oh, I didn't know that.
Some people do it for. Some people try to make money off of this.
I had no idea it was even possible.
I know.
Wow.
I know, right? Now, I don't want to ask you, are you, let me ask it this way. Do you break even, Shannon?
Well, I do everything pretty much for free. So, yeah, like, I design my own covers. Let's see, I use Canva, CANVA, to design the covers, which is all free. I use free stock images. Yeah, so the only thing I pay for is the paperbacks, and paperbacks, I do make my money back. So I do break even, yeah.
Now, Shannon, I just walked in here saying that you designed your own covers, and I see on our graphic that you're standing in front of a bookshelf. Are all those books that have been written by you?
Hold on, I gotta look.
You
know what? The top shelf, just above my head, the puppeteer is the first one up there, and then right next to it is and the Shadows.
Yeah.
And the Shadows is actually one of my paintings.
Wow! And you designed the puppeteer cover as well?
No, my friend actually did that one.
They're both great.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
You're
Oh,
welcome.
Kari, I forgot. And Shannon, you need to update your my
What?
goodness, the two of you. So you don't know this, Kari, but Shannon runs her own bookstore.
Yes, I do.
Oh, what's the name of your bookstore?
Genres Bookshop.
Genres
Right?
Bookshop.
And you want to know whose books are in my bookshop right now?
Rob's.
Yes, they are.
Amazing.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's really cool. Now, you live in upstate New York or West New York?
Oh, we are, Western New York. We're basically closer to Erie, Pennsylvania than anything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm going to be in New York, and we're going to be going to Pennsylvania because I'm going to be going to the Franklin Institute. So if I pass it, I'm going to stop in and see you.
You should, yes.
I will.
Oh my gosh.
Take pictures.
Yeah, I will.
That's awesome.
I will. I'll stop in and see you on the way. So you design all your own
Sweet.
cover art,
Yes.
and do you do your own formatting as well?
Amazon mostly does that.
Oh wow! So you don't spend a lot of money to publish your books.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much free. The only thing the only thing I pay for is paperbacks, and I do mostly make that back, depending on the day.
How about your editing?
I use Grammarly. Shoot, now I can never remember the name of the other one. It's one of those online things, but I just have beta readers help me out.
So you don't hire a line editor or a story editor?
No, I'm a little bit bad with editors. Well, they're bad with me, or they try and charge me so much money that I'll never make it back. And I decided that I liked my books enough as they were to just say no.
That's
You're
awesome.
gonna do it yourself. No, that's really good. It sounds like you've got like a really good formula going for yourself. And with
I hope so.
yeah, because it's really
Well, I've read some of your work. Your work is good.
Does it look like it needs an editor?
I would not. I don't recall. So that must be good, right?
It
It didn't stand out to me that I was like, oh my gosh, this needs a line editor. So
we
bad.
wouldn't have had you on, we wouldn't have had you on the show if Rob didn't like your work.
That's
'Cause
probably
Oh,
true. Yeah.
Okay, I like this.
Rob wouldn't have recommended you come on. Because
Well,
I mean,
and you just had me read something of yours, and I don't recall anywhere in there that I was like, yeah, this grammar is way. It's all over the place. So no, you must.
So you
be
are a
really
one-man
meticulous.
show. You're a one-man show, Shannon. And
I
that-
really am, yeah.
We should take the R off your last name and call you Shannon Rebel.
All right, I'll take it.
Maybe Rebel, Shannon Rebel,
Revel.
not Reber.
I'm okay with that.
So tell us about your writing process. You said you went from epic fantasy from the torture, the swords, sorcery, and torture to urban fantasy. Is that the correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So tell us about your urban fantasy.
Okay, my most popular series is the Madison Meyers series.
Okay.
And that is paranormal mysteries.
Ooh.
So like the first story is a murder mystery wrapped around a ghost story.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
And let's see, the second book is, how do I describe that? It's like human trafficking, paranormal division.
If you think of Madison as like a Jack Reacher, but not with the muscles or with the guns or really with the violence. I don't think there's a lot of violence.
There's
in there.
not a ton of
Right.
violence.
There's a little bit of stuff in there, but not. But like if you think of that kind of like Madison's pretty smart, she's pretty in touch with the supernatural for a lot of reasons. And
There are a lot of reasons.
yeah, and and she also I'm telling about your books because
I've got to read these books. They sound right up my alley.
They're good.
Ooh,
They're good. They're
Yeah.
fun.
No, I love.
I will
anything
totally
that-
send you one.
They're fun.
Oh, I would love that. Well, I'll buy one, but I'm going to definitely read they're Madison Mercer books.
Meyer, Meyer.
I'll definitely check them out. So she's basically like a detective that works on, but she's got like a supernatural element.
She's young. She when the book starts out, she's 17. She has her 18th birthday during the middle of the book.
Okay.
And so I don't think it qualifies as young adult, but wait, no.
It's not.
It's not.
Yeah. I mean, she's a young adult, and so young adults might read it, but
yeah,
I don't think it hits that kind of tone of genre for young adult.
Exactly. I had a really hard time figuring out exactly what to call it, because I mean she's working for a guy who is a retired cop. He was forced to retire from the police force because he told the truth in a police report about something that happened that nobody wanted out.
Yeah.
See?
So they forced him to retire.
And he became a paranormal investigator.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So it's like, how would you define it? Like, because it kind of does sound young adult. Like, what is young adult exactly? Like, okay, so for example, the show Supernatural. I didn't find a lot of 50-year-olds watching that. But I
actually, honestly, the first book in the series is my version of that legend that they used for the pilot. Yes. Yep.
The Woman in White. And so, yeah, because I watched all that. I used to be like, just have this super hardcore crush on Dean Winchester when he was on Days of Our Lives.
Me too.
Right? He used to be on Days of Our Lives.
No, that I didn't know.
Oh, yeah, I do a Dean Winchester impression. Do you want to hear it?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Sammy.
That's perfect. That's all you gotta say.
It's really
That's all you gotta say. That was very good.
No, it's really good. But yeah, no, Jensen Ackles used to be on Days of Our Lives, and I used to be a waitress, and I would go hang out with all my single mom friends during the day, and they would all watch Days of Our Lives, and so I was just like, oh, I just love him. And then so then when he came on Supernatural, I was like, I have to watch it. It's got, this guy and ghosts, and then I loved it, and I used to watch it like when it first came out, and the first season I really liked because it played like kind of like classic rock, and it was really good, and And then the second season was okay. And then the arc just started getting ridiculous. And I just didn't like it.
Through the entire thing, Sam bugged me. I wanted Sam to be slapped. Like pretty much the entire series.
Oh.
Hey.
Sorry.
With his hair, but his hair would go flopping around and he'd give you that puppy dog look that why did you just slap me?
Because you're a weenie. That's why.
Yeah. There's a lot of I realized
that
they kept doing this. They kept doing this like mini arc with Sam and Dean. So like they disagree on something, but then they do it anyhow, but then they disagree more because it was the theme. And then they'd finally, like one of them would just go ahead and do it anyhow. And then they'd be mad at each other. So they'd split up for a while and then they'd have to come back together to fight evil. And then
that was the whole premise of the show. They were
every time.
They were very different. And they had Sam, his family kept trying to force him into this life that he didn't want. He never wanted it. And then
he was destined to do it.
But was he?
He was. Oh yeah.
It was self-fulfilling. No, it was a self-fulfilling. Yeah. I mean, I guess he was because of what we learned later on. Yes. Spoiler alert, Supernatural. If you haven't watched it. Did you watch the last of it, Shannon?
I didn't. I haven't seen the last season.
Oh, then we won't say anything.
Yeah, my husband got rid of Netflix.
No, we won't ruin it for you, but can I tell you, I thought the very last episode was perfect.
I loved it too. Oh, Kari, we're awesome together.
We really are. No, I thought it was absolutely perfect. I thought, I think because my idea of the afterlife and all these things, and then just, I don't know, it was just, I loved it.
There was a lot of hate for that last episode.
I know, but I feel like that was like,
don't give any spoilers. We don't want to spoil it for
you.
No,
I actually know how it ended. Oh, okay. My best friend told me.
Okay. Well, I feel like the people that didn't like it were A, younger people, and B, people that didn't start watching it back in 2005.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
See, I'm obsessive when it comes to things that I like. So I probably could quote pretty much an entire episode of Supernatural. Like I would watch it repeatedly. And I did that with the first season, like, because I have it on DVD and I would even just put it on when I was cleaning the house and I'd watch it over and over. But, honestly, after the first season,
I didn't like it as much, although I did think it was cool when Bella showed up on Walking Dead. A few of them went on to Walking Dead. Bella, and then the dad was on Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the dad.
Oh, I forgot that was their dad. Yeah, Negan.
dad.
Negan was what's his name? Dean something or other.
No, that was John Winchester.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, John went. No, but I mean the actor's name.
Oh yeah, I don't know his name.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Jeffrey Dean.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dean
Morgan.
Okay,
Jeffrey
okay.
Dean Morgan. Okay, so I know we're diverging here, but I
Just a
hated
smidgen.
Negan so much.
Same.
So
Yes.
much.
I stopped watching the show around then.
Right. Not
When?
because of I mean the character was consistent throughout. I just
What are you talking about?
The Walking Dead.
Walking
Walking Dead.
I didn't know which way. Who did you hate?
We did. I diverged.
It's okay.
The John Winchester, the guy who played John Winchester.
Negan? Okay, can I tell you?
Yeah.
Can I tell you? I always said, and I mean, I'm not spoiler alerting now because it's so long ago. So screw you if you haven't watched past episode 5 of Walking Dead. I always said if they kill Glenn, I'm not going to watch the show anymore. Because I have no reason to watch a show if they kill Glenn. Yes, I love Daryl Dixon, but I'm married to a guy like Daryl Dixon, so he doesn't. I don't care. Like my husband walks around and he's unfucking washed, and I am married to a Daryl Dixon, and Glenn was my favorite because I always felt like out of all the characters with character development, with somebody being thrust into a situation, like he was a pizza delivery guy, and Glenn was the coolest one. Glenn saved Rick.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Loved Glenn, and I always said if they ever kill Glenn, I'm not watching the show anymore, and that was the last episode I ever watched.
Yeah.
I'm with you. That is the episode I stopped watching.
Yeah, really?
A lot of people dropped.
Seriously.
Yeah, that was where they lost a lot. That whole season, a lot. And I only stuck around because I wanted to see Negan dead. And
he's a nice
he didn't
guy,
die though, did he?
He didn't die.
And isn't he a nice
Yeah,
guy?
that's what I thought.
Because my husband still watched the show, and I'm like, why is that fucker still on there?
Right. Right.
Now, and I'm like, where's Rick?
Right.
And where is Rick?
See, I don't know. I quit watching.
Same. I don't even know the name.
Right.
Rick is the
No,
main
I
Oh
don't
guy.
know where he was.
wait, I remember the name now.
Yeah,
Okay,
Rick is
yeah.
the main guy.
I
I was
remember
like-
him now.
I like Shane too. Even though like he was in love with Lori and whatever, but I liked Shane. I was sad when Shane turned into a zombie and died.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, it's funny
I
because
don't know. I thought he was kind of a horrible person, actually.
Did you, Shane? Well, you know, I'm not going to argue with you. I have horrible taste. Horrible taste.
See, the thing I didn't like. Okay, just this is a grown-up show, isn't it?
Oh my.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've been
Okay.
swearing the whole time.
Okay, good point. Well, when I think it's like the first time they show Lori and what's his face having sex, he's like holding her from behind, and I think he has a hold of her hair. I'm like, that's not exactly loving. Granted, it's probably hot in some way, but no, don't show me that. Show me love, not that. I mean, he stole another dude's wife.
Well,
yeah.
he did like
Well,
he
he
didn't
thought he was
steal
dead.
her.
In all
They thought he
fairness,
was dead
he did think he was dead, and he
He
loved
didn't
Rick.
try that hard.
He didn't.
Well,
I
no.
agree. He didn't try that hard. He did.
because he was getting the hot girl that he'd always
And you secretly don't love your bestie's partner. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That's horrible.
That's true.
It
That's true.
is exactly.
Good point.
So other than that, I liked Shane. Other than that, I liked Shane.
That was
Okay,
a nice detour.
Yeah, no, he was good. But I
pardon
mean,
me. Don't mind me.
I've given up on Walking Dead, and I cannot believe it's still on. 12 years later.
I can't believe that.
I
That's
couldn't
crazy.
believe it either. I thought it
People
was
love
gone.
that
I
show.
thought it had ended, and I just hadn't seen the end. Nope.
No,
it's still on.
people love that show. People love zombies.
Oh, I love zombies.
Dude,
You know what my problem with The Walking Dead was?
What?
Not enough zombies.
I
was-
know, right?
It was all about the human drama. I'm like, I don't want to
Yep.
watch human drama. I want to watch y'all fight zombies.
I don't like
Actually,
zombies.
I gotta say, one of my favorite books, series that I've found recently. The chick's name is Sarah Lyons Fleming, and let's see, it's zombies. nuts. I can't remember the name of the first series, but the second is the City series, and that is my favorite book, and it has my favorite narrator ever. Luke Daniels is my favorite narrator. Like, I have a voice crush on Luke Daniels. He's so good. And they did it where the female voices were done by one chick and the male voices were done by Luke Daniels. And he makes every guy sound unique and like perfect.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, it was awesome. I mean, book two had a few errors, but you know, it still it still worked. And it was more human drama than it was zombies, but the zombies were very graphic and very there.
Yeah. See, and that's what I missed from The Walking Dead. Like, the zombies only showed up when they needed, it seemed like if they needed filler zombies.
Yeah.
Where rather than this was an ongoing problem that you have to constantly face and survive, and like, that's what I wanted to see.
So they were reduced to a plot device after a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of actually being this all threatening.
Right. Like constant.
Yeah. And I don't like zombies. You hear I think they scare me too much.
That's funny because almost nothing scares you. So, or does everything scare you, but you just like being scared? I don't know.
Everything scares me, but I just like being scared. But I don't like being scared by zombies because they just seem so insurmountable. There's no humanity in them. There's too many of them. I think maybe because I would die within like the first 5 seconds.
Oh, dude, you would. No. I would probably die like 2.7 seconds before you.
Right? Like I would just die because I can't run fast. I can't run. I can shoot, but you only have so many bullets. My hands, like I drop everything. I would have dropped my gun. And I would have complained about being dirty. Like, who would survive Brody? Like Brody, my husband, would have like some crazy zombie tower that he's rigged everything up that has explosives. He'd have guns go out of every window because he's brilliant. He's a genius and he's well equipped for zombie apocalypse. But he would probably take that opportunity to throw me down there. Yeah, he might say.
No. Oh, well, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
Say, but I think they scare me too much.
See, right? they've stopped scaring me. I am very hard to scare because of Supernatural.
Okay.
Yeah. I got used to being
you
scared.
You have experience now. You've got like experience with the
Yeah.
I mean, there were some pretty scary Supernatural episodes though too.
There really were.
Some of them were, like that was part of Supernatural was. So, the Winchesters were totally badass, but at almost any given point, somebody could almost take the Winchesters. And that wasn't like high rankers. There were low rankers who could get a hold of the Winchesters and just rip them apart. And it was usually dumbness that kept the low rankers from winning.
But there were some pretty scary monsters too. Like I remember one. I don't know. There was just monsters in general, right? I think most writers have that sort of fascination with monsters in general.
Yes.
Right?
Because
we write about them, whether they're human, supernatural, mythical creatures.
Yes, exactly. I have done so much research on Irish deities, and I was looking for the scariest god, which it didn't have to be from Ireland. So I'm looking for these horrible things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this one is perfect. This is so wrong. That's why it's perfect. I was so excited.
Which one was it? Now, is it something that you're using in a book?
Yes. Hold on one second. I can't remember the name. It's hold on. Well,
you did get the name, but I'm going to give a little like supernatural stuff in old times. Like that was every bump in the night, right?
I know, right? Exactly.
It was anything. Yeah. Every werewolves, vampires, almost every society has some kind of almost every society has some kind of vampire. That's or Walking Dead. They have something where there's undead involved because medicine and science and burial practices all were so horrible and not Yeah. And so there was a lot of attribution of horribleness to.
But the thing is what's horrible to some is not horrible to others. Like I have this friend who's like in school because she wants to be a coroner's assistant. She's like, live people are annoying. I'd rather be around dead people. And I'm like, are you serious? Like that doesn't scare you? She's like, no. And I'm like, but the blood and the guts, the draining of the fluid. She's like, no. And and so I think what's scary to some isn't scary to other people.
That is a very good point.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, because some people like I'm not a horror guy. I'm not interested in horror.
No, you're not at all.
I don't want. Yeah, not my thing. But like that's not what scares me.
Okay, what does?
Dying scares me. Dying scares the hell out of me.
Oh, I see.
Jeez.
Why does it scare you? Why does dying scare you?
It's so final and nothing and ugh.
So you don't believe in any kind of afterlife?
I've struggled with the idea of an afterlife. Yeah.
And is that because you grew up as a Mormon?
No, I didn't grow up Mormon. I grew up Catholic. I grew up in Utah. Well,
they're filled with Mormons. What do I know?
Filled with Mormons. They have a huge afterlife. They have a great afterlife. In fact, it is really hard to. They don't really have a hell. You get cast into outer darkness if you're so bad. But like they have 3 levels of heaven, and even the lowest level is really sweet. Like it's a pretty good deal, even if you're going to the lowest level of heaven. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to become a Mormon then. Jeez.
It's a pretty good deal.
I grew up Baptist. There's just heaven and hell in my room.
Like hardcore Baptist, because Baptists are like pretty serious on when it comes to heaven and hell.
My family is fairly hardcore. I'm less hardcore than they are, but
how do they take your writing of the supernatural? I'm curious.
Well, my dad is the only one that's read my stuff. And he read the Puppeteer series, the torture series. Right. And he was like, oh yeah, this is really good. And he wrote me a review, and it was very sweet, and I was just really excited that he was reading it. And so a couple years later, when I was looking at it again, I was like, I didn't even remember how dark this was. And he's like, yeah, it was really dark. Your mom actually read like 2 paragraphs and she had to put it away. It's like, wow. I knew she didn't read it, but I didn't know that I scared her that bad.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, so tell us, when you did your research, now you said that you were looking so I wonder, do you think that the fact that you were raised in a religious family, even if you're not like super religious, there was some sense of religion in your home? Do you think that has a reflect on your writing? Like you said that you were just looking for the scariest God ever. Do you think for?
Kind of, sort of, but see, the way that I see it is, I do believe in God, but I have a hard time with churches. And I really hope my parents don't hear this, because I think they would be appalled. But
even though you just said you believe in God, you still think they would be appalled?
Well, it's that whole idea of
because I never connect God and churches. So what you're saying is you're less spiritual, you're more spiritual than you are religious.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I'm the same way, because I believe in God, and I'm actually, and now you would think if I was religious, I would probably be devout, because I'm extremely spiritual, and everything I do, I think anytime I leave the house and how I treat people and how I do everything, I think I really just do it to serve that God, if whoever you want to call him, for giving me just this beautiful earth to live on.
Okay, that's very cool, actually.
That's what I feel like, and so I probably would be one of those hardcore like Christian people who were like, if I was a religious person, because I mean, for me, I feel very connected to, I pray in a sense every day. Like, how do you practice your spiritualism?
I actually haven't in a long time. I just know that I believe, but with the way that I explained it best is actually one of my characters in book 3 of, I think it's the Lightbearer series. So this guy says that his mom taught him, his mom took him to church, and she taught him that let's see, what was it? That there is God, but there are gods as well. And that the gods, they aren't a problem for the big God unless you worship the little gods. If you just acknowledge the fact that the little gods are there and, work around them. This world had gods and demons and pretty much every supernatural being. But I actually believe that. I don't actually believe that there are other little gods, but I believe that there are myths that people believe in, and yeah. So I don't worship. Well, okay, I'm not a very good worshiper either. Oh, please don't tell Cliff and Shirley, please.
We will not send this to Cliff and Shirley. No problem.
Thank you.
Do your parents want you to attend church and that?
Oh, yes.
Because they're I think it's a generational thing too, right?
Yeah.
They're, I think religion was a huge part of society.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be anymore, maybe because there's so many different kinds now. People don't, I don't know, but I know that America and Canada, when people came here, they were Christians, weren't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
It was based on Christianity, which is why you get holidays at Christmas time and not during Ramadan, which is why you have New Year's Eve off and not Chinese New Year's. And it's going to be interesting to see how society encompasses that melting pot of culture, because I would love to have Chinese New Year's off as well as my own. That's the way I see it. If you're going to add holidays, I'm for it.
Well, they're all in my phone, so apparently my phone is trying to teach us all something.
Right. So now, when you said you were doing research for the scariest god for your whip, is it?
I found it.
Yeah. What was it?
It's Metus, Metus. It's the Roman god of terror.
Ooh.
And it's really, really creepy.
Oh. Now, are you using that god in a book?
He's not. He's basically just being mentioned.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but he's a super scary dude. But Baba Yaga from Russian mythology
I love
is also
Baba Yaga.
being used. I know,
I'm
right?
so excited. I love Baba Yaga and her chicken leg hut and everything else.
Exactly.
Chicken leg house.
Baba Yaga. And she was
that chicken leg thing always throws me. She's supposed to be just terrifying, but then she wanders around in this house with chicken legs on. And I'm always like, but that just sounds delicious.
It really does.
Oh,
We just had
wow.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I mean, seriously, the legs were delicious.
Sounds great.
Yes.
I know. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Everybody always thinks I'm a vegetarian because I'm an animal lover, but I'm like, no, I love animals, but it's so hard to not eat Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Shannon, what are you working on right now? Is it just the Metus God thing?
Oh, well, see, I have a problem. I can't focus on one thing at a time. I focus on everything. Everything. Yes. That was my creepy voice. How do you like that one?
That was pretty good. I was wondering.
Thank you.
What happened? Yeah. So you're writing a few different projects, or?
Yeah. Right now, book 3 of the Lightbearer series is 3/4 finished. Book 10 of the Madison Meyers series is about 1/4 finished. And book 4 of oh nuts, now I can't even think of the name. Oh balls, seriously, what was it? I'm such a moron. Hold on a second, let me look. Oh, Through the Mist. The Through the Mist series.
Oh, yeah.
I'm editing book 4 right now. So
you
did I count right? 4 series?
Yes, but there's others that I kind of work on every once in a while because I have a problem.
How come you don't focus on one?
Because I probably have ADHD that was never diagnosed or something, or like my brain goes everywhere when it comes to stories, and I love writing and I love getting those stories down, but I'm not a good focuser.
So what do you do then when you sit down to write? How long do you spend? Do you just work on the one each time, or do you work like you'll do 20 minutes on one, 20 minutes on another? Like a squirrel with a laptop?
I'm a mood person. So whatever I'm in the mood for is what I focus on. And as of now, my mood is a little bit in need of a drink. So I have been just editing this last week.
And Shannon, I'm going to guess you're a pantser. You're not a plotter, right?
I am a pantser, yes.
Yeah.
Can you tell by the way that I write?
Not by the way. Well, again, like I couldn't tell you didn't use your own editor, so I may not be the best judge here, but I didn't feel it felt like it had an arc and that it was going in a direction.
Well, see, the thing is, that is actually an old book that I wrote probably 15 years ago that I basically took the really, really, really crappy writing and refurbished it and then chopped it into multiple short stories. So the book is finished. So it is done. It just has to be, I'm polishing turds at this point in my life. Okay.
No one's noticing.
Well, why do you bother? If you don't like them, if you think they're turds, why do you stick with them?
Because I love the story. It's just that my writing, it was, let's see, it was before I knew like when I would write a sentence inside quotation marks, I didn't realize that you had to put punctuation inside that other than a question mark. That was the only one I knew you had to put in there. And then there's capital letters where there shouldn't be, and double space between paragraphs.
Oh.
And
that's where an editor comes in.
Yes, but being my own editor means that I've drunk a lot of vodka in the last month or so.
That's why I mean, I think that's why people get editors.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
But vodka's good too. I mean,
it is, yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You're down on vodka now.
Vodka's a good editor.
Wow.
You should
Vodka's
put that
the best editor.
My editor,
Vodka's like, you are the most amazing writer ever.
Actually, Jameson's is my you are the most amazing writer ever. Vodka is my dear Lord, help me, please. I don't know how I can get through this.
But do you do you enjoy writing? I think that's a huge thing.
I love it.
See? So you love it. You've got your own racket. You do your own editing. You do your own formatting. You create your covers. You take out books and you enjoy the journey and you enjoy the process. And I think that's wonderful.
You want to know what else is very cool about the self-publishing aspect of my life?
What?
It's very easy to now make audiobooks. I now have, I think I have 21, no, I either have 20 or 21 published, and I've got, no, it's 21 now. Oh my gosh, it is, it's 21. I'm clapping. Yay. I'm clapping for myself. My cat just fell off a chair. I'm not sure how she did that. Oh, poor baby. But 22 will come out sometime this week, and then I've got a short story anthology which will come out in the next couple of weeks, and 2 more short stories in the next couple of weeks as well. So I've got like I'm plowing into the audiobook world. Yes.
For audio, yeah.
Now, how do you get
it is my favorite thing.
You don't record your own audiobooks, do you?
Oh no, I can't do guy voices. My little kid voice does not do well with guy voices.
I think you probably do good at cartoons, though. You know, you probably
I know.
Oh, yeah.
People have told me that all my life.
You could be Bart Simpson.
Yeah,
that's Nancy Cartwright. She has that same voice. Yeah, that's a good point.
But so then, how do you get an audiobook out?
Have you heard of ACX?
Yep.
No.
Okay. Well, ACX is it's an Amazon company. So your book does need to be on Amazon, I think. Like 97.2% positive. It has to be on Amazon. But you just basically you go in, you do add my book, you look up your book, and you can either get you can have a narrator already picked out, or you can have people audition for them.
What?
Yeah, seriously.
It's like it's I don't even know what the analogy would be. It's almost like holding auditions. There's all these voice actors on ACX.
Yes.
And they have their resumes up, and they're all trying to get your job because there are more voice actors than there are jobs. And so you go through, and a lot of them put up genre, which is great, because when we did my book, that's the first thing we look for. We look for a steampunk, somebody who had read steampunk before. And so
that's cool.
Who pays them? Who pays them?
You pay them.
Well, see, the way I did it was a royalty share.
Right. You can. There's a number of ways. Yeah. So, and I think we did a combination of a flat fee plus a percentage of the audiobook, but it was a really small, but you can do they have all kinds of, and you actually have to learn the terminology if you're doing it yourself, because some of them are like, I want this, or I only work for this, or yeah.
But it's always abbreviations, and it took me a long time to figure out the abbreviations.
You have to figure it out so that you're like, oh, I don't pay that way.
Exactly.
But then then it really is like reading people's resumes. And so we just boiled it down to the first 15 and then went from there. There were just so many.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. And so then and they have samples up, and you listen to them, and then whoever you like, you're like, that one will do.
Nice. I actually, for one of my favorite epic, not epic, I'm sorry, urban fantasy things that I ever wrote, I heard this guy's voice. I was just randomly searching through. I was like, holy cow, his voice is perfect. Wow, that's really good. And I sent him a message, and I asked him if he would want to audition for this book. And seriously, this kid is like the new now I forgot his name, Luke Daniels.
Yeah.
He will be famous someday. I'm just trying to get in now so that I can afford him.
You can afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that must be so exciting hearing your book in audiobook.
Oh, I can't express that, how wonderful it is. Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Yes.
I have one. I don't have 21. I have one book out. I actually have one that a buddy of mine, who turns out to have a fantabulous voice, just did it. He's just like, here, I just did it. But we have not gotten it over, like ACX keeps rejecting, or whatever it is. Audible keeps rejecting it. There's something wrong. I've got to get a technician in on it. But
okay.
That's my shout out to my buddy, Michael Lazarus, who has a golden voice. I'm always surprised when I hear it. Yeah.
And does he do audiobooks, Michael?
He doesn't, because I'm a big fat jerk and have been so lazy about getting an audio tech. Like, he kind of wanted to break into it, and he was going to use my book as kind of the thing. And COVID happened, and I got lazy and just have not gotten off my duff to get a technician who can retune it so that it will meet the standards.
Okay, I'm totally laughing at you right now. Just
I
FYI.
know, I'm horrible, huh? I'm just a horrible person.
Well, it did take you a year to send me your book, so yeah, you were.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that story. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me tell that. So I can tell this story really quick.
Okay.
So Shannon has a bookstore, which we talked about, which is an awesome bookstore. Yep. And and I reached out to her and I said, Shannon, how do I get my books in your bookstore? And she said, send me your books. I'm like, oh, okay, great, no problem. So I packaged up my books in a box, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And then, no, not COVID. COVID didn't happen. It was ongoing.
No.
I just packaged them up in a box and set them next to my desk and forgot about them for a year. And I was cleaning up one day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's my books I thought they'd gone out. Like, in my head, I had done what I said I was going to do and had not. And I reached out to Shannon. She's like, yeah, you never sent them. You're a bum, and I hate you forever. And so we're not friends anymore. So,
I am.
oh, that's
well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's true. But now I'm thinking you're a bum. But whatever.
I know I am a bum. I'm the worst.
But but still, your books are in her bookstore, and I think it's great to be in the bookstore, Shannon. Now,
yay, me too.
You must have some of who are your favorite writers, and who do you think have influenced your writing? Like what other authors?
My favorite author is probably Dean Koontz.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's a great writer, and
heck yeah.
Yeah, he's a great writer. Now, what was your favorite book by Dean Koontz?
Honestly, I like the Odd Thomas ones, but I think my favorite was Fear Nothing.
Odd Thomas is great.
I'm
sorry.
No,
I don't really
so
like
much fun.
Dean Koontz, but I like Odd Thomas.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, now hold on a second. The thing that I love so much about Fear Nothing is it's this dude who has a sun allergy. So like any exposure to UV rays will give him skin cancer and he will probably die. And so there's like this huge issue for him, and he can only do his thing at night. And it was such a great book because I love characters who have those sorts of issues. They're not perfect. I like the ones who aren't the classic pretty boy kind of perfect. And it was just fantastic, and I loved it, and I absolutely recommend Fear Nothing by Dean Koontz.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I like Dean Koontz, and I was sad to hear that he'd had such a hard life, but I think that also resonates in his writing as well, and probably what makes him so good.
Probably true. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of, I think when writers put in characters that have flaws, whether it's mental or emotional or physical or all of the above, like they definitely are writing usually from a place of understanding.
Very true.
And I think that's the whole point of not only being a writer, but being a successful writer. People want to read the truth, whether it's your truth, whether it's their truth, whether it's a truth that they can't possibly imagine. I think that as at the core of every book is that writer's truth, because nobody's going to believe a lie. I mean, people will believe a lie for so long, but I think that's the part of it, is just stripping those layers away.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Being raw and vulnerable and just being open. And I think that's what writers resonate with.
Yeah, very true.
And at the end of the day, I think that's the difference between success and I don't like to say failure, but not success.
Not success. You know what I mean?
Yes. You're not writing the truth. Even if it's fantasy fiction, you're not writing that truth.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
And
oh no,
the time has come.
Curses.
Right. Goodbye. And it was so nice to have you on, Shannon. Now
it was nice to be on.
Oh, well, it was wonderful. And tell us where we can find you and where we can find your books and your latest
series,
your latest production. Yeah.
Okay. Amazon is the best place to find my books, or my bookshop. I'm working on getting them in other bookshops around, but I'm not working that hard. I need to work a little harder on things like that. Yeah, I'm bad at that. But you can find me on let's see, I've got a Facebook author page, which is just I think it's just author Shannon Reber. I've got Twitter, which is Shannon Artwright. Let's see. I've got
Artwright?
Yes.
Artwright, okay.
Artwright as in artist.
Okay.
And then write as in writer. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Where else am I? I have an Instagram page for my bookshop, which is Genres Bookshop.
And we'll share all that when we put out your episode. We'll have it there for our listeners who'd like to follow your Instagram or your Twitter on your bookshop.
Sweet.
And so that's all the time we have for today. Rob, I'm sorry. That's it. We're done. I got to go.
That's it. We did it. We bit page turners, page turners.
This is it. This is the last show, so it's bittersweet before we take on our new name and our new persona.
Yep. We will now be
Congratulations.
the myth behavers on myth
Thank
behaving.
you so much,
And
Shannon.
I want to say one last thing.
Sure.
Yes.
Sammy.
Oh my God. I love it.
That's a perfect way to end, dude.
And until next time, folks, we will be back in I don't know when, and in a few Sundays, we have another exciting guest.
Yep.
And we will be back on the same channel. Only we will have a new name and a website. And as always, thanks to our sponsor, Goodwin's Greenhouse Supply and Service. Until then, everybody, happy spring.